Now we're going to listen to the second movement, and I think this bit particularly means a lot to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the second movement of this Dvorak's quartet is entitled Lento, which means slow. And I listened. The last time I listened to this was like a few months ago, because, like I was saying, I was playing another piece of Dvorak's and listened to it. And this second movement it very much inspired my father's own string quartet. So my father is a composer, and he wrote a string quartet. He's a big fan of Dvorak. So, and I remember, him telling me, that the second movement of his quartet was very much inspired by this. So there's a kind of very folk-like tune, very melancholic, and it's accompanied underneath by this kind of repetitive pizzicato in the cello, and a kind of undulating
pizzicato.
Sorry,
Yeah.
pizzicato is when you pluck the string instead of bow it. So when you pluck it. So that's in the cello part, and then there's this kind of undulating second violin and viola part that goes on top of that, and then the melody on top. It's so beautiful, and when I listen to it, I think about my father's music. And of course, it resonated a lot with me because my father is ill as well, and of course, it just So yeah. So when I listened to it,
It's poignant, isn't it?
It's poignant, and yeah. So hopefully, I won't cry now listening to it. But yeah, maybe we can have a listen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. When you listen to it, you have this feeling that like it's very full. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, if someone was thinking of home, their heart would be very full. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's not like it's look at me. It's like it's full and it's almost gonna go over the edge. It doesn't go over the edge. And it's that tension between just outright let it wear your heart on your sleeve and keep it on the inside. It's got that. It's like it really pulls you. That's the feeling that I have from their playing as well. So the music has that quality already, but their playing is also, it really shows that.
Wow, yeah. For me, it felt like a bit like I I don't know, like a sad part of a film,
Mm.
like just trying to express some kind of real sad moment in someone's life. That's what it felt like to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's amazing how, it's like the difference between, I don't know, if you have many years of acting, okay,
Mhm.
maybe in the beginning when you are acting, you want to make the emotions very overt, very obvious, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But then when you spend many years acting,
Yeah.
some people, you know what they feel by just the way they look at you
Yeah.
without saying
Oh
anything,
wow.
and it's really, I don't know, full, just
Yeah. So that could
the
it
way
be
they
from the
communicate.
quartet actually knowing each other more as well
Yeah,
after time as well, maybe.
yeah,
They come
yeah,
together.
yeah. Whereas
Mm.
perhaps if you listen to young quartets,
Okay.
it will be very expressive,
Yeah.
but it's like you serve it out in a very obvious way, on a play, and then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so it's what you see is what you get.
Wow.
But their playing is very much, you can taste so much more under the surface.
Mhm.
I don't know, it's very,
Yeah.
that's the
So you're
beauty of
saying
music.
like
Yeah.
the fact that they've been together that long and they're harmonious and it comes
Mm.
through in their music. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Wow. That's deep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
it's
really
deep.
good.
It's
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's just fascinating for me learning because as obviously an untrained ear to classical music, all of these things are just things that I can look out for in the future as well. So it's great stuff. But I really enjoyed this particular
Mm.
bit as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think also the thing about, I mean, this quartet, how long is the whole quartet? The whole quartet probably is about 30 minutes,
okay.
and that's a long time
Yeah.
for one piece,
Yeah.
even though it's in 4 parts.
Okay.
It takes you through a long
Journey.
journey, and you have to stick with it, and because it's so long, relatively speaking, and you stick with it, you see things that you don't in a 3-minute song.
Okay. Just like an album and a single kind of thing as well.
Yeah,
The difference. Yeah.
it's just different. It's a different experience. It's a very different experience, and that's the thing about a lot of classical music, that sometimes you go to a concert, you look at the audience, what do you see? You see a sea of white hair,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like a certain generation in general. I mean, of course, there
Yeah.
are other people,
Yeah.
but there's a certain generation that is used to sustaining their attention and going deep into something for an extended period of
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
and then the rewards are
Much
so,
more, yeah.
yeah,
Which
so
is why I bought the
deep, and
record player, really. I was
yeah,
kind of sick of just Spotify playlists and just one song, another song. Not
yeah,
really related to each other, the songs
yeah,
either. So you can
yeah,
go on a journey, what you're saying, through this album. So on
yeah.
something like this, you would listen to all four together, wouldn't you? Like,
You would,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's a story, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
read a book, you want to see what happens in the beginning, middle, and end, right? And how they hang together. And if you were to read a really good book, you can't put it down.
Yeah.
You want to see what happens,
Yeah,
right? And it's the structure, of course, is a little bit different. It is 4 different parts of a story,
yeah, yeah.
um, but it's a similar kind of way of following a story. And the way they play is like storytelling, So, yeah, I mean, that's why I love this album.
Yeah,
It's
no,
so
I can
amazing.
tell as well, and I'd love
Yeah.
to love it at that level, which I hopefully I
Mm,
will in the future as well. In
yeah.
terms of you get a lot more out of it than someone like me, but at the same time, that's the point of this conversation as well.
Yeah.
To kind of discover new things about new genres. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
I'll just put it on pause for a second, and then we can just quickly.
Oh.
It's fine. It's fine. Wrap up. I'll just.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask you a couple more questions then, just about classical music. It's all right, yeah.
It's all right, yeah? It's all right. She's a very silent camera woman there.
Oh dear.
I can feel you zooming in my face, man. It gets hot on my face.
Make sure you get her bad hair.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for that, for introducing me to that piece, and not just me, but anyone else listening as well. And it's just a good introduction for me. But how else would people? Where would you recommend people to start with if they want to start listening to classical music, appreciate it on a deeper level. And even a question about like volume and what you would do. Would you ever would you play it louder than what we've been playing as well? Would you do things in the background while you're doing that, or is it just more a real kind of a solo activity? Yeah.
It's funny you should ask the thing about volume. I've yet to see some clunker going down the motorway, like blasting out Dvorak Quartet and the windows rattling. I have yet to see this, but it's just it's that's actually a really good question. That's a really good question. Okay, let's just go back to what would you start with if you want to get into classical music? What would be a good start? It's not. It's in a way the same, I suppose, question one asks when children start to learn an instrument. Like if you look at all the beginner books, you probably won't find. You might find Dvorak in it, but you're more likely to find Vivaldi and Mozart, right? Things that are really from the classical Baroque era, which is fine, but that is assuming that every child is going to gravitate towards those harmonious, happy harmonies first, right? That's that assumption.
Are they easier to learn as well, those kind of pieces, maybe?
It could be, yes, because they fall within a certain traditional harmony. But, and maybe I'm not a good example for this, but like when I was about 7 or 8, I think, my father used to, we used to drive me to school, and then he had a cassette player in the car. And the 2 recordings that I loved to listen to the most were Rachmaninoff, Piano Concerto, with Horowitz, great Russian pianist who's passed away, but great recording. So Rachmaninoff Concerto and Bartók Violin Concerto. Okay, now Bartók, Bela Bartók, he's a Hungarian composer. And his music, now if we were to play some Bartók now, you would say, that sounds very angular and unharmonious, dissonant even. It's like a foreign language. You would probably say that because the harmonies, there are some kind of more classical harmonies, but it's very how do you say, it's discordant music. But that was what I loved to listen to the most when I was 9, right? And it's not because my father pushed it on me or anything. It's just I love that recording. I love the concerto so much. So I sometimes feel like we don't give people the benefit of the doubt. You must start listening to Vivaldi 4 Seasons. I mean, it's great too. But you would be amazed at how you can understand a particular genre of music if you gave yourself the chance. So
you're saying give yourself a chance to try different types and see what resonates with you.
Or something like Stravinsky, another Russian composer, who's funnily enough, he wrote this piece called The Rite of Spring. Now when it was first played in Paris, and no, was it in Paris? When it was first played in the premiere, famously, right, there was a riot in the concert. Now, you think about today's audience, nobody would even breathe. You cough, people give you a look, right? But back then, what an audience that was. We're not afraid to react to what they were listening to. And the music had such a, it's very, I don't know how to say, it's got monstrous elements in it. Okay, there's some very dark elements in it, and there's a very dance elements. It's very kind of primitive quality to it, and the harmonies are extraordinary. But people who listened to it said, what is this? And it really made them react, and they did react
in an angry way. You mean?
In an angry way, and then there were people who supported it, and then people who didn't, so they were rioting. So I mean, imagine if that's the kind of reaction that you can have today. It would simply, you would much too polite to do that, right? But it's because people understood that sound to be kind of provoking, a provocative sound, and it could have been people who had never, maybe they were more used to classical, but it's music is a language that everybody understands. And you may think you don't understand it, but actually you do. I mean, it's if someone were to speak to you in a discordant way, you would completely understand that. So music is like a language, and the way that it's played, if it's played communicatively, you can start anywhere really with
Yeah.
so-called classical music. I mean,
Ye-
that's why it's a misnomer, you know, because it's
Yeah.
not just Mozart and Mendelssohn, you know. So I would just, yeah, I mean, it's whatever you like. It's
Mhm.
whatever you, if you like, say, French food.
Mhm.
Okay, so you can start with some French, you know, Debussy and Ravel and
Yeah.
French classical music. I mean, I bet you would be able to feel what the composer is saying.
Okay.
I'm sure you would.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
No, I look forward
Mm.
to it. And then, how do you listen to it? Just generally at home on your hi-fi? Is that how you would listen to it?
Well, I don't have a hi-fi,
Yeah.
but no, I think, you know, I mean, we're so used to listening on
Yeah.
tinkly little devices, your
Yeah.
iPhone, right? I
Yeah.
mean, not that music still has a lot of impact.
Mhm.
Obviously, they go straight into your
Mm.
ear.
Mhm.
You know, it fills your, you know what I mean? Like it fills your head. You know, the
Mm.
sound is probably nothing better than that. You know,
Mm.
I wouldn't turn it up too much.